Welcome to Grit, the Real Estate Growth Mindset podcast, hosted by Brian Charlesworth, founder of Sisu. Sisu provides growth automation software for real estate. You'll hear stories from real estate thought and technology leaders, team owners, and brokers on how they grew their business in a rapidly changing industry. You'll learn how to transform your brokerage and teams into a high-performing and analytics-driven business so you have a new, durable, competitive advantage against disruption in your market. So let's get right into it.
All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Grit podcast. Today, I'm here with Kenny Truong, and I am Brian Charlesworth, the founder of Sisu and your host of the show. And really excited to be here with Kenny today. I've watched Kenny just scale his business massively over the last 4 years since Sisu's been around. And it's been fun to see, Kenny. So congratulations on all of your success. First of all, Kenny has a team called Fast Real Estate. So anything with fast is Kenny. So we'll talk about that in a minute and talk about how he got that. But Kenny is in Oakland. He's been the number one team in Oakland many years there. And he came into real estate straight out of college. And he's always been known for leveraging his technology and tools and really just scaling fast. Kenny, how many agents do you have now?
We're floating around locally on our team, like actual team members. I think we're around like 274 right now.
Okay, so 274 agents on a team. I don't think very many of you have ever heard of 274 agents being on a team before. So it's massive. So we're going to dive in today and learn how Kenny's done that and how he continues to grow and what his vision is of the future. Kenny, is there anything you want to share just further about that? Or maybe you could give us a little background on when you got out of college, just a high level.
Yeah, got out of college, took 6 years to get out of college. So I think I'm pretty smart, but maybe not a book smart person. 4 years community college, maybe 3 years community college, and then 3 years at State College at Hayward, but then kind of became University of East Bay. It was a commuter school, didn't really make many friends there, mostly traveling, but graduated with a business degree and a marketing degree. So it fit pretty nicely what I'm doing now, because the product I'm selling in business and marketing is myself or my sales team. Did that, I think I was like 24 when I got out, so maybe 2006, 2008-ish. But then I got into real estate about 12 years ago, I think. Okay.
So it's interesting, I think real estate used to be viewed as you get into real estate, you're a salesperson, and now it's still true for a lot of people, but a lot of people get into real estate to build a business. And obviously that's what you did. And it's a totally different approach coming in to build a business versus coming in to sell some real estate.
Yeah, definitely. I think, people and still holds true to say, but people kind of want to get into real estate sales to, build relationships. And you got to remember, like 12 years ago, there wasn't really any technology. Like Trulia and Zillow and Redfin just came out maybe that year. There wasn't even a CRM for real estate. There was barely any tools you can use. So it was really, face to face, phone to phone. You call people, you meet with people, you network to really build it, to sell real estate, which essentially is the business. But it's hard to build that type of business because there wasn't really many systems, and other than just getting in front of people, unless you were doing REOs, which is a whole different ballgame.
Right. Cool. So when you first started in real estate, my understanding is you personally sold a lot of homes. Is that true?
Yeah. Took me over about a year to make my first sale. So I kind of blanked it out my mind. I made it was a $60,000 sale. I literally showed that guy like over 70 homes. He finally made an offer, a couple offers, lowball everything. And then we sold them the home, didn't want to do inspections, and found some stuff later, but that was how the market was back then. But when I finally did sell real estate, I ended up doing about 9 transactions my first 2 months. I started in March that year, if I didn't count that small August sale, which I almost quit real estate because of the sale. But from March to end of the year, I ended up selling about 24 homes. Next year, sold 25 homes. After that, I think I did about like 49 or 52 homes. And then I quickly became actually to this day, at least last week I checked, I became the number one agent in Oakland for buyers represented that year and the next 3 or 4 years. Going back 12 years, I still hold that title to this day, only up ahead by maybe 4 or 5 sales in Oakland. It's funny because the MLS says I've only sold one house in Oakland to a buyer in 2 years. So I haven't sold it in 2 years. I'm still ahead by just a little bit, but I'll lose that title pretty soon.
All right. So how did you come up with fast? Because if you showed however many homes to this first person and sold one home your first year, you didn't start out so fast. But now, whenever I think of you, I actually think of you as Kenny Fast. So it's fast, it's team fast, it's fast agent, it's fast real estate. How did you come up with this, and how did you get to move so fast? Because you really do.
I mean, hashtags were starting to become a thing. Like I signed up for Instagram when it wasn't even on the iPhone. So that's kind of important because I had a HTC Thunderbolt. That was Android. I flipped between Android and iPhone my first 5 years, I think, just for fun. But so hashtags weren't a thing. Twitter just came out. Couldn't even use hashtags on Facebook or Instagram. As I was posting photos online, I just started tagging it Fast Agent. And I bought an M5. I dropped my old cars. I've had sports cars like Supra and WRX and stuff. But I've had a license plate that said F5TAGNT, Fast Agent. And then I was like, hey, what if I started using this as like a branding thing? So started doing that, tagging everything I had. At the same time on Instagram, also tagging food pictures. If you go look up hashtag Fat Agent, there's literally hundreds of pictures of really poor quality pictures, because this is 10 years ago, of food. But then I started doing email newsletter campaign and different marketing, and I kind of just built up the Fast Agent brand. So I've been doing this Fast Agent brand for over a decade now. I think I started in my third year in business.
So, well, let me ask you, how many followers do you have on social? Let's just take Instagram as an example.
Instagram's my main one, about 12,200, I think. And on Facebook, I think I have 4,900, but I haven't used Facebook in probably like 3 or 4 years, like actually use it. Business page. Yeah, but I have almost 5,000 followers on that.
Okay. So the one thing I've noticed about you, and I'm one of your followers, so thank you. The one thing I've noticed about you is your story is usually like most people usually, and I'm one of those, has one or two or three things on their story. Your story has like 30 things on it. So yeah, like it's a big part of what you do. And I think people, I know I do. I personally watch people's stories more than I scroll down, right? I mean, because video is more interesting, right?
Yeah.
So talk to us about that and how you started doing that.
I started doing stories when it came out. People are on Snapchat. I've never really been a big Snapchat fan. My friends were on it. And when I first hopped on Instagram stories, they're like, why are you on it? We're all over here. I was like, well, you can't really pick up, you can't pick up followers on Snapchat because all your friend. But been developing that. My stories are pretty raw. I like it because wall posts are more edited and curated. It's just, and I don't really care for likes and that. This is actually not my opinion, but this is direction of the industry. And funny enough, just a couple of days ago, Instagram changed on the stories, instead of saying how many people watch your story, they changed it to the word activity. They actually want people to stop caring about how many people watch your story. And then I think a year ago in Brazil and some markets, Instagram or super influencers, they actually got rid of how many likes they had, the number of likes. So people really care for engagement. I've always built my business like that. So if you look on my wall, you're wondering like how I do what I do, because there's nothing on there. There's nothing. I probably posted twice in the last year. Like I don't get it. Why would Kenny be a social influencer on Instagram? But it's because I post 30, 50 times a day on stories, and 100 times if I'm at a mastermind. And I really go behind the scenes on how do I build my business. Currently, last year I was the number 2 agent at EXP for sales volume, second to one of my mentors, Daniel Bear. But in fact, actually, I think that was for GCI. So in fact, I think we actually still number 2 at GCI because Veronica figured at 700 million. But last year, my team sold 673.9 million. So I get to show like the behind the scenes of how we're running our businesses. This week, we're recruiting pretty heavily. We brought on over 50 sales agents to our team this year. And when people leave, I don't know who else is posting this. I haven't seen it. I post what that I don't disclose their name, but I post what they sold. And, but I also talked about, how you have to hire to new talent, how we're hiring, why it's important to increase your subculture of the company and things we're doing. Last year, like transparently, the stuff we see on Instagram, we lost over $105 million of production, but not many people would be open to sharing that. Being business vulnerability, it's not, I don't care, but this year we actually recruited over $100 million in agent production, just between 6 or 7 agents. And I talked about how we're interviewing these agents. That's a 30-million producer, this and this, and this is what we're offering them. This is what they're asking for. This is how we can support them. So you're not going to get that transparency from anywhere else on Instagram stories, you would and can come to these podcasts, but you don't know what you're going to expect, right? You have to listen 10 minutes into this, even hear what I just said. So on stories, day to day, people get to kind of see how we run the operations and stuff, projects we're working on. This morning, I get the screenshots of a Hayward office, because we have 4 retail spaces. We're opening up an office in Hayward. It kind of freaked me out. I thought construction cost would be $150. The construction cost would be $283,000. So I posted it online, like, this is what it will actually cost to build out an office, and this is what we're working on and such. So you're not going to get the behind the scenes of an actually true operator on Instagram walls or any type of social media, except that quick snapshot. So people who want to see it have to follow pretty, not addictively, but pretty consistently to even get that. Because in 24 hours, that story is gone. Like, I might share it again in the future, but today was the only time I'll share that cost, because I found out that cost at the same time that my audience is finding out. So it's like an actual reality show, because you're not, planning ahead and making something cool or hip that will get engagement. This is life. This is what's happening, and this is what we're doing.
Yeah. So it's current relevant information, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So how did you decide to start doing that? Because, and maybe back up a little bit, like, when did you decide that you wanted to build a business instead of sell real estate?
When I first started, so it was good. I started kind of at a small broker shop, Michael James Real Estate. They only had 6 agents. Before the market crashed, my broker had well over, I think, 200 agents in his office, but then doing now 6. So it was starting from scratch. And then I saw how he was running a true business. He was doing flips, a lot of acquisitions, buying REOs, selling. I think my broker was the number 1 agent, in at least in my immediate area, selling over 100 homes a year. So I saw like lead gen and prospecting and flow. Because, when you work with a bank, people submit something, you get something, you wait to hear back, and so on, right? It's a workflow. So I took a lot of his listings, I posted, and I manually posted them on Trulia and Zillow, because there's no syndication between the MLS. I posted them and I blogged about it. And then I went on Craigslist and created these ads, and that was the first agent in my market to have an IDX site. Because I saw someone in San Diego have it. So this is how far technology was behind. There was no IDX sites. I was the first person I knew in my home market that IDX. So when you're doing stuff like that, you're not really thinking about people. Yes, real estate, you're selling, you're meeting people and stuff, but I was like, how do I get leads? How do I put them in the system? How do I funnel them to the next stage? And how do I close this person? And how do I repeat that over and over? So I think as soon as I really got into real estate, I kind of built the business flow from that. And before that, I got a computer in 5th grade. Windows like 14.4K modem, Windows 95 just came out that year. So I started building computers in middle school, and I spent most of my time in computer shows and building websites, Angel Fire, GeoCity, and had a cool Zanga blog, Zanga, MySpace. This was actually like the true social media, right? Before there was pictures. So I've been doing all of that. And then when I got real estate, I kind of combined all the things I knew and have done, and kind of turn technology and processes into real estate, versus now people are trying to turn their real estate businesses into a business and systems.
Yeah. So INMAN gave you most innovative agent of the year for your marketing and systems. So like, how did that happen? Because there aren't a lot of agents getting recognized by INMAN.
Lots of it. So I did, like, without diving too deep, like, I did unique things no other agents were doing, like my email campaigns with the Fast Agent. Every week took a pop culture topic, where there's Coca-Cola or a movie with The Rock or Playboy or, I don't know, Zigzag Man, whatever it was. I just changed it to a Fast Agent branding. No copyright infringement, never had trouble for it, but that's what it looked like. I actually did a couple hundred newsletters every single week, took me 6 or 7 hours, themed for that. And then in the streets of Oakland, I had about 100 bench ads. I started with 10. That's just a Fast Agent on and nothing else. And then my Facebook, I did a lot of Facebook advertising, pushing to zip codes and new content, promoting loans stuff. So, and then the newsletters were posted on like Facebook and Twitter and LinkedIn. So combining all of that into a system. And then before there wasn't really APIs and stuff. So like hacking together, Zapier, where the leads were coming from Zillow and get added to MailChimp, and I get added to Real Scout and watch my newsletter and they get my ads with the same database on Facebook. None of this is revolutionary now, but I was one of the first people to kind of do all that, combine, visual marketing and appeal with some actual, marketing in the streets where people have not seen that before. and combining with online. So I want to work for kind of mishmashing all that fun stuff together.
Okay. So Kenny, moving over, you're an attractor. You have 270 agents. You have people, you have an ops team, you have leadership team, you have Elias setting up your sales team. So you've actually built a true business. And so what have you done to attract all these agents? And also, what have you done to attract your team that's actually there to support you and let you go be Kenny fast, right?
Yeah. Number one would just be being very, I didn't do it by myself. I've attracted over 95, almost 100 people to EXP. So, half of them are my team. But me, as I said earlier, being very visible on social media in the stories. But my team is constantly creating content. So we're the most visible team on social. I think we're the most visible team in the nation for social media. If you go to #TeamFast, you can take a look, or go to my @Kenny_Fast and see what I'm tagged in. So helping our agents create really cool content has been really attractive to team members. And as we've evolved very quickly, because we came to EXP with 10 team members 2 years ago, 2 years and 1 month. And now we're, where we are now. Early on pandemic, when everything was in shelter in place, the market was frozen, did about 70 webinars. I personally hosted about half of them, and I constantly was tagging the top 1% of agents in my marketplace, and 20 people will hop on a Zoom call, and then I would tag them on Facebook and get everyone to see my page. And then every week, the Star Valley and INMAN, so I had 3 tech tools today. We're going to go an hour over this, and people will come promote, or motivation and hustle, or top 1% Alameda County, top 1% this, or broker owners, or top team rich leaders. So constantly bringing that really got me on the map early on, but later it's adding resources. Now, currently today, our biggest value add, and why we're attracting top talent over $20 million and plus all the time, is we build out a really big junior leadership team and resources. Like example, we have 4 ISAs. They work for free for our agents if they want them to call our database. We have an in-house videographer we hired a month ago. We have a senior market manager creating really cool content. One of the best internal newsletters we've seen. We've been 5 weeks in now, building really cool content. We're doing stuff last couple weeks ago, we did a photo shoot of Valentine's Day on a pink backdrop, people holding a flower. It was super cute. It had huge engagement for our teams for free. And then now we're doing it for St. Patrick's, holding events here at the office. We have 4 really great retail office spaces right now. We're working on 4 more. So we're in a 9,000 square feet warehouse right now. It looks completely tricked out. Kind of like was it Sisu, that co-working space you have? I saw some glimpse, this is raw concrete and brick and wood. So it's really cool in there. We've held things like Tom Ferry's Success Summit here, where 80 agents showed up. We had the Elite Retreat here. We do top producers dinner, recognizing our top 6 agents, and they bring a guest. We do Hustlers Lunch. We had one 2 days ago where we pick our top 4 people from all 4 categories that we choose from that have made the most calls, appointments, hours working in your business, working on your business from the Sisu staff. We take them out for lunch. And then we're right now, there's 30 people outside right now doing a foundation work class. So we're constantly last week we did bar camp. We did a bar camp where it was, we had the timer on the screen, and we had Squid Games music in the background. I came in a jumpsuit. We had Korean food and Korean beer afterwards. So just making it a very fun place to be is why we've been able to attract a lot of talent, and coaching calls a couple of times a week, team meetings, and just really building up that resource, our resource. So we're doing something no other team has done in our area. Is when you go all these masterminds and you learn, okay, this company does this company does this, they have this. Well, a top producer earning 300, 400, 500 grand a year can't do that and that and that and that. And then if they do want to do that and that, they have to hire someone to figure it out and then train them, which is a thing away from production. So what I've done essentially in this company is I'm out production. I'll do 1-2 deals a month tops. I really try not to do any transactions. But I go to these masterminds, I see a great idea, I implement to our company. Now our team members, whether they're new or experienced, they have all the resources that a top mega team leader has, which is impossible to get because, for someone to copy and replicate our systems would literally cost them millions and millions of dollars, because that's what we spent building this out in the last few years.
Yeah. So I love it because you go to masterminds. A lot of people go to masterminds and come back and don't implement.
We implement while we're there. It's screenshots, admin team, added to the Monday project board. So we easily have 15, 20 projects right now. Working with you guys, we onboarded 50 agents this year. You can imagine how much of a shit show that could be. So we were onboarding with a spreadsheet for the longest. And a year and a half ago, we started using Asana, which has been good. But now we're using Sisu, where we break it into 5 parts and we're doing stages. We're in lock certain things. And now we literally started onboarding a couple weeks ago. And then we moved our entire roster of our agents. You can actually go join Team Fast.com and check it out. We moved that over to Monday this week. So we're constantly looking for bigger and better systems to move to kind of increase the flow. Because to onboard, back then it was a really big deal to onboard 5 agents a month. Because who's adding 5 agents to your team, right? That's pretty good. Well, we added 35 in January, and I think we added like 25 or something. I don't even know. But we're just constantly flowing people in and then getting them set up. So that's some of the stuff we're doing, and that's why we're able to track it. We're really strong on the visual attraction, getting people hyped up. We have community, which many companies don't really focus on yet. Culture is great. Culture looks sexy, hair by the vibe. The community has a lot to do with like in-person events. People, like I went snowboarding randomly within a couple of hours notice. Like, hey, it's raining really bad here. My team members were here. So 10 of us went snowboarding yesterday. We just randomly decided to go yesterday, like within an hour notice of the day before. And I saw that a couple of our agents went to Lake Tahoe together that are friends. So our agents here hang out with each other a lot. So that's a lot different from, or people are missing that this year. I think if people want to focus on growing this year, it's really building community, because, you can't make that many friends over Zoom.
Yeah. Yeah. So you are excellent at implementing from masterminds. You also go to a lot of masterminds and events. How much do you spend a year, do you think, going to events?
Not too much. I know like 2 years ago, look at my expenses. It was maybe like 20 grand or less, because these events aren't that expensive. You're looking at, it depends who you're talking to, right? But a ticket usually costs $1,000. I just, before our actual recording, I said I'm going to the Realty One Group Summit, because I like going to other people's stuff too. I've been to Realty Summit, all this. Like the ticket there is like $600. Hotel is $150 a night. You're there for 4 days, and the flight's like, I don't know, $300. You're not in it for more than like $2 grand. And imagine you got a referral out of that conference, right? So back then, I think I was traveling about 130 days out of the year. This year is looking about that. So I'm traveling about a third of the year. And the reason why a lot of agents follow me is I go to these conferences and I take notes fiercely. Like I'm like on my laptop and my phone, I'm screenshotting, giving my commentary, taking something down. And at the end of it, upload it to a Dropbox, have the notes somewhere in Google Drive, also in my Dropbox, or send out people I think will appreciate it. So I have a hit list, as a recruiter, I have a hit list of over like 150 people that I would like to bring to the company. So when there's information I think can help their business, I'll text them and send it to them. And then people just watching for free along the way on Instagram stories. Like I meet people all the time that will tell me to screenshot a lot of my stuff. And like, I'm not the one on stage speaking. I'm just taking the notes. I'm taking a lot of notes. I'm trying to screenshot almost everything I see, or take pictures of speakers. And no one else is doing that. I've been to tons of conferences. No one is like purposely doing that, but I personally have been doing that for over a decade. So like that's how I build my business, is bringing value to people, but also like, because I don't sell real estate, all I do is study real estate.
Yes. Interesting. So how big is your team? To support just onboarding that many agents and then managing that many transactions.
If you've been enjoying Grit, please help us continue to grow the channel by leaving a 5-star review and sharing it with a friend. Now back to Grit.
How big is your team to be able to do all that?
Support team?
Yeah.
I think we have 25 people on payroll right now. If you go to jointeamfast.com, the org chart is actually on here. I'm not sharing rights. I do. I can walk through just quickly without
sure. What's the website you said to go to?
Jointeamfast.com.
Okay.
Yeah. So here's me, visionary. I haven't fully studied EOS yet, but I've learned a lot about it from my mentors. So we have 2 departments. We have an operations department, as seen on this left side, where we have a director of agent services, Molly. She's the one that handles all the onboarding. So she was doing all the onboarding recently, which onboarding is getting them in the system, signing up for all of our tools, setting their email addresses up, setting their for sale sign, their templates, their riders, getting them on Real Scout and Sisu and Ylopo and Slack and Monday, all that good stuff. And then and it's constantly being built out. And then her sister works for us too. Now her sister's doing all the technical stuff I just mentioned. And Andrea Hennon is handling like, you just have questions. You can't expect everyone just to learn from a video. So she handles a lot of the one-on-one calls. Hey, I have that deeper question about this and that. Our market manager just joined us a couple months ago. She handles our internal stuff, and we have big projects on all the time. Karina is our kind of executive director. She started as my assistant, but now she's kind of like our in-house broker, handling all the contracts questions, got them in and stuff like that. We have an in-house assistant coordinator that used to work for me. Now she works for the company. Laura Spielman, operations coordinator. She handles all the payroll and paychecks and stuff like that, which is literally a full-time job in itself. So last year we closed 884 transactions, and splits changed last minute. There's mentorship fees, referrals out and stuff like that. So it's a lot to deal with. This year our goal is to sell close to 3,000 homes. We had a couple in like local assistants, virtual assistants. We have a team of virtual assistants, and the cool part about them, they actually work for the agents too. If they just need anything like, hey, I need something changed on Canva. I need you to get all the data from this website onto the spreadsheet. I need to make some changes on we're doing like an audit right now on our agents where we're Googling every agent and making sure they're changing all their information on Yelp and LinkedIn and stuff. You'd be surprised how bad that is. We have agents here for 2 years that still shows a different brokerage. My brother is working for me as a kind of like building coordinator. He handles all of our retail spaces, restocking, AV equipment, events. More recently, we hired Patrick as our videographer, which is great. We're doing big marketing campaigns for the company. We're not doing anything unique yet. Example, first week he was here, we shot 10 videos for Black History Month, featuring our Black agents about their businesses. He's editing this week, and we're on the release all the videos at the same time. Then we did a Valentine's Day campaign where a bunch of agents came in and took these really cute pictures holding a flower with a letterboard that says, Valentine's Day on a pink backdrop. So it's really unique content without our company branding, which I really like. Then we have an ISA department with 5 people. Head ISA, he doesn't actually make calls, he just manages the program. He gets paid an override on every Opcity and OJO Labs deal, but he manages all 4 ISAs that I pay for. Coaching training department director, Elias, probably seen on tons of our coaching calls, leads most of our training, coaching, productivity and such. He was doing all the one-on-one meetings, but now we recently hired Eric Kang, a $21 million agent in his 3rd year, to handle one-on-ones with the newer agents, teaching classes in our boot camps. We're running a 7-week boot camp right now, alongside with the head of education mentorship. And then we have someone, Melody, helping us with recruiting. So we're doing probably like 60 or 70 or 80 recruiting calls a month right now. I personally am on 30 to 40. I only handle referrals from other agents, team members, or high-level producers. Melody handles people. We have partnerships with 2 real estate schools. She handles all the real estate schools and newbies, and Elias handles a mix of the referrals and some there. So that's our ops team. So currently we have 25 people on ops. Okay.
So, I just wanted you to share that because that's a big team to support that many people. Yeah. And it sounds like you're using about four software platforms. I think I heard you talk about.
At least Monday is our internal stuff. Slack is where we talk to each other. And then like the agent stuff is like they use Follow Up Boss, we use YLocal for them. They use Follow Up Boss, Sisu, Real Scout, and High Note. Those are their core products they use. And we have other stuff too, but that's the main dashboard.
Okay. Interesting. So
2 years ago, just me and Karina. 2 years ago,
in 2 years, you've gone from very small to you did 884 transactions. Congratulations. That's awesome, by the way. Like that's huge.
Yeah.
Amazing growth.
Our average agent does 7 deals too. Our average agent does over 7 deals a year, including the people who do no deals. So our agents are really productive.
So you've gone from now you're saying most people that I know, most of our Sisu customers double their business every year. So our typical Sisu customer would say, I'm going to go from 880 to 1,700. And you're saying I'm going from 880 to 3,000.
Yeah, we did. The year before we joined EXP, we were in a climb. They shut down, and that's why we had to make a move. And I kind of dive in there. We did 88 transactions at 56 million. In our first year here, there's not a lot of business being done between January and June, by the way, because COVID. But we did 188 deals at 126.9 million last year. And then this previous year, we did 693 million. Yeah, 693.9 or something million with 884 deals. Then this year, our goal is 2 billion. We're a little behind. We're actually at 150 million pending and closer to year. I think we closed like 78, which is a lot, by the way. But we're only double last year. I was expecting triple last year throughout the year. So we have a lot of catching up to do. But our goal this year was 2 billion. I think it's very possible still, just at the trend we're going right now. it's just, the secret in there is really going to be bringing top talent, bringing in the people who are already doing 20, 30, like we're talking to a 20, 30, and 60 million producer right now. Like we've had a couple meetings. So that's the secret sauce, and really gain that. And you can't attract that type of talent without the resources. So the chat we're constantly having, and we know that. So working our leadership team, like is like that joint team fast slide deck is great for new agents, but someone higher up, it's okay. How are you really going to get me to the next level? A lot of it is going to be leverage systems, holding them accountable. Maybe they want to start a farming campaign. Okay, we'll get it running for you. We'll hold our assistants accountable. We'll do it for you. We charge you. We'll send you a bill. Like everyone knows what they need to do, but they just don't have time in the day. But how great it would be if you had an entire resource operations team that we strategize your game plan for a year. We'll sit down and really dive deep in getting all that stuff done that you want to do. Because then you have someone like myself that understands it and not in production to spend the time helping you do that. And like from our like higher level resource people up until first year quickly, it was just me and Karina. In June, we hired the sales director. In August, we hired a marketing assistant. Now she does onboarding. In September, we hired a trainer. Now he's a director of ops. So that was our first hires. But since last year, within the last 5 months, between August and now was when we hired our lead scientist, our senior market manager, our videographer, our mentorship person, and agent development. So we've made 5 key hires all within the last couple of months. And this is next step in our business to be able to attract like really big agents, because we have it. Because, like a lot of companies out there are great. Like I bring up Side a lot because they help agents kind of shift brands and create their own brand in the box. But then what's next, right? Now, essentially that team there is a recruiter. If you're a brokerage, what do? You recruit. You want to get production, you have to recruit. But now they're figuring out, okay, I get it. Now we need to hire a marketing person for a team. Now we need a videographer. Well, we're ahead of the curve. We have this. Like, why would you want to start your own team? And then we have really competitive splits too with the rest of the market, on par with all the big brands out here. So why wouldn't you just plug in? All the stuff I mentioned is free. There's actually no additional cost. We're not paying for your farming, but we'll get it done for you and charge you. But all the stuff that we have doesn't cost you a thing. Like the virtual assistants, the ISA team, getting your marketing done, helping you create your personal brand. We don't charge extra for that. So we're really trying to make ourselves the destination spot for all top agents. And we have something very unique that no other company is doing, or they haven't done it yet. But by the time they do it. Yeah.
You do. I mean, the number of people you have there working to provide these services. I mean, looking at your org chart there was pretty amazing, honestly. So
it's something we do. It's the big hires we had during this. We've hired everyone within. We have not hired single, other than virtual assistants, right? And it's just assistants in general. The key hires we have on our leadership team and our junior leadership team all came internally. So something we've done too with our junior leadership team is give them a higher commission split and a salary. So they part-time work for us, doing what they like. So that's something the other companies I've seen is able to offer. So as we grow, I don't know what the next 5 hires or 8 hires we'll have this year is, but if we're going to our plan was 600 agents by this year. I think we'll actually be closer to 700. But we're adding over 400 team members this year. Like there's got to be at least 5, 6, 7, 8 more key hires in there based on people's existing talent that we can help them grow the company, and they also get compensated for it.
So you're growing from 200 to 600 agents this year.
Yeah.
Which is so impressive. Like you think at a much higher level than pretty much any team I've.
Well, our geographic reach does help us a lot. Many of you guys may not understand the Bay Area landscape, actual physical geographic location, but every 20, 30 minutes is a completely different market. I've only sold a home in this city and that city 20 minutes away from me. Out 600 homes I've sold. So we have retail offices like outside one little snippet north of me, we actually will have an office within half hour of every single office. So we'll have 8 retail spaces. So we kind of mimic, or my goal is kind of be like a regional KW franchise owner, except they all compete here with each other. But how cool would it be, and KW is different, right? I use that a lot. Like this, your office experience with this office and that office is going to be different because it's owned by different owners, different sales team, different whatever, managers, different agents. Yes, on the logo is the same, but it's actually in a completely different company, right? So we're running, we like to get to 14 locations by probably July this year, with 8 or 9 being retail spaces where agents can come in, they can work at any office. It's the same agents at each office. Obviously people go to each one a little more frequently. They can feel welcome and at home at every office. You're working with the same administration team and operations team, same marketing And we also encourage personal branding, which probably won't dive into here, but same marketing, same systems. So that's why we're growing so big too, just because we have reach. Someone an hour away each direction will introduce us to another agent an hour each direction. Versus if you work specifically in Utah, and I don't know what's 2 hours next to Utah. So like you can't really recruit that agent because then they're too far. But here, like we're expanding where we can recruit agents like literally anywhere geographically.
Yeah. Makes sense. So most people, if they said, I'm going to double my business this year, wouldn't even know here on February 24th that they're pacing. They said they were going to triple it. They wouldn't know that they're pacing actually to double it, like you said. And if they did know that, they would probably adjust their goals to double it instead of triple it. And you're all about, we're going to triple it. So you've given us a lot of things that you're doing to do that. Obviously, you're recruiting top talent to your team. You're recruiting top agents. What else are some of the key things you're doing to really make sure you hit that 300% this year?
Retention. I mean, we are definitely having issues with retention. So in the last 2 years, we lost about 46 agents, but we also put them in a spreadsheet, look at why we lost them. About half of them aren't in business anymore. So can't do anything about that. Like we lost 8 agents last week. Between the 8 agents, they did 10 deals last year. No, actually, no, sorry. 2 agents did 5 deals and 4 agents didn't do anything. So that's a big deal for other teams, but we really just need to recruit 1 agent to replace 10. So retention is key, making sure agents are engaged, doing workshops around them, recognition, featuring them on newsletters, highlighting them every week, our team meeting, having a award ceremony, having them be speakers at our events, highlighting them so they can also do agent attraction. This is not something new. This is something new to us, as even though we have all this stuff, we now feature our top agents for the month. We have a cool Instagram ad because we used to make fun of companies that do that because it's usually kind of ugly, right? It's like great, good, like, I don't know, KW is the worst. It has orange badge. I don't know. I think it looks terrible. It's like an emblem. Like NorCal, Hawaii, I was like, why would you post this? But we have something pretty sexy looking. Now we highlight our top agents for each month, like top 5 units, top 5 volume. So, and we make it look good too, and we tie in with other things. So recognition is really key. Recognition creates retention. And also like opportunities. We increased our splits this year in January for the very first time. So we go anywhere from 75 to 90 based on GCI. So that's been big for us for the retention. And then creating leadership opportunities in the future and letting people know we're always constantly looking for leaders, but people have to show up first, contribute to the company, and we can find them a role. So there's a couple, 3 or 4 people we've identified that really want to help the company. They're the ones leading conversations within our meetings and coaching calls and training. They're stepping out their way to help other agents. They're mentor. We have 30 mentors in our company with 100 mentees, 10% split on that. So people who are showing up and helping is a lot. So we really, when we're doing Zillow squads, we stopped that program where we had squads where micro accountability groups with their own custom names and stuff. When we were on the calls with just the squad leaders, we really focus on the 5 levels of leadership. So we're bringing in outside training into the company because our 3 goals this year for our company is to focus on helping our agents start to build teams. Because we're big enough, so I don't need any recognition. Fast real estate team, fast, great, whatever. But now we want teams within the team with full resources too. By the way, you don't go and build it with teams within team and really helping our agents learn to leverage assistants. So many of our agents now have their own virtual assistants. They like ours and like they use ours, but they realize there's a queue, right? They don't want things to wait. Because why wouldn't you just go hire your own virtual assistants for $5 an hour and share with another agent? And so we're really teaching agents how to do that. And then at some point we're gonna launch a training program where our assistants can train other assistants inside the company. So agents just don't love selling real estate. They can become assistants within their company, and we'll train them. And depending on what they charge, maybe different tiers of what they do. And then there will be agent traction because obviously EXP, that's the opportunity here.
Interesting. I've never heard someone talk about agents getting their own VA, but that's a very interesting and a lot of them very easy concept to execute on, right?
Yeah, like my recruiter, like she's using my VA, but my VAs I have like 6 VAs. I share one VA, she's been with me 5 years with other agents, so things don't get done right away. Now one of the recruiters have their own assistants, a virtual assistant, and now more recently we hired Elias, his own assistant, but our marketing manager is getting swamped. Like the marketing manager is great at creating projects, but she shouldn't be the one implementing every single picture. Hey, this is a marketing campaign. We need these 10 top producer things. Well, that person doesn't need to pick out a picture. Yes, it's a minute, but how great would it be if we have virtual assistants doing that? So now she'll share an assistant with Elias until she gets so busy, then we get another assistant. Because it's all about, a scale at this point. And this is not something, this is something other team leaders are figuring out, right? If you're a team leader trying to figure this out, you can't support a top producing agent on your team on how to do it because you haven't done it yourself. And this is all I do. So we're copying the systems and leveraging it downwards so the team understands how to build systems.
Yeah, awesome. So Kenny, just a couple more things. Tell me how you spend your time. You guys have so much going on there. Like, how do you prioritize your time and stay out of the weeds?
Letting each department really make decisions. I'm usually the final say when it comes to things, but I'm not really in the implementation stage. We do, example, like we just started 3 weeks ago, because our ops team is so big now, right? Like 25 of us. Now we have weekly meetings on Wednesday for half an hour. Everyone just talks for 2 minutes, letting you know what we're all doing. And then I have conversations with different departments, but every time we're in conversation, it might be me and Molly and Karina talks to this person. And then me and John and Ben, our ISA person, and Eric, agent development, we handle all the flex stuff. So we have different departments handle different things. That's how you multiply your time, right?
Yep, exactly. Last thing, just a few personal questions for you, Kenny. So what's your favorite book to read or favorite source of learning?
Masterminds. I really Audible. I was doing like 15, 20 books a year. And then a couple years ago, I did 4 books last year, maybe 10. Because I listen to Audible when I drive. I don't really drive. I don't meet with clients. I don't meet with people. So it's really hard for me to get that time in. So I would say actual in-person masterminds are my biggest learning source.
Yeah. Awesome. And what's your favorite place to go?
Lately it's been snowboarding. I went like 5 times in the last month. But outside that, I'm usually if I'm traveling, I like being on the beach. I've been in Cabo and Cancun last year, and I'm going to Cabo, Cancun, literally in the next 30 days. So I like sunshine. My favorite thing to do on vacation is literally do nothing. I'll go, but I don't care to make a schedule, have plans, all that. I just staying on the beach or staying in my hotel room doing nothing.
Yeah. Well, good. I'll see you on the beach in Cancun.
Yeah.
Great. Last piece of advice you have for anybody out there, just on building a business. I mean, you have scaled this up faster than I've ever seen in real estate. So congratulations to you on that. But what would be your advice for listeners on,
everything either costs us time or money, right? If something doesn't cost a lot of time, try it out. Or if you're building out your team, you need to hire people to make decisions for you, and they're going to make bad decisions, but you learn, and the faster you make decisions, and just pick something, unless it's something where you have to pick it and then the consequences require a lot more time to fix, then maybe give that a little more thinking. But I feel my business is trying everything out. I wasted a ton of money on different marketing sources last year that didn't work. We tried this system, that system, it didn't work. So but I'm not the one wasting my time on that system. I pay people to do it now. Like I said, earlier in this call, moving our entire recruiting process and onboard process, Sisu is going to save us tons of time, and moving our roster to Monday, where we have a public facing board instead of a stupid spreadsheet is going to be great too. It's constantly adding more things, but prioritizing projects, because, it sounds like I have a lot of things going on, but we have projects say, hey, this is a due date in April. We're thinking of doing a swag store, but it's not urgent. It's not we're fine with that. Let's look at this in June. Let's try this. We're in money right now. It took us months and months to build out, but I want to look at ClickUp. I keep seeing it everywhere. I feel like new products are usually better. Let's look at ClickUp towards the end of this year, because my team would kill me. We spend all this months building out, and I just also want to change. But constantly, so having projects, but figuring out when you're going to implement it and who's going to implement it.
Awesome. Kenny, thank you so much for joining today. Really appreciate it. Again, for you listeners out there, I don't care what business you're in, being able to scale a business at the rate that Kenny has scaled his business is pretty incredible. So take some of these things. I know Kenny is fast and he talks fast. So I recommend you go back and listen to this one more time. I know I have a full page of notes here in front of me, and hopefully you'll go back and get a full page of notes in front of you as well. A lot of great advice here, Kenny. Thanks again for joining. For all of our listeners, thank you for listening today and for getting the word out and just sharing this with others. so that we can get more people like Kenny on the show. Have a great week, everyone. We'll catch you guys next week. Thanks again, Kenny.
All right. Thanks, Brian.
Thank you for joining us on our podcast. If you have an interest in a free 7-day trial of Sisu, go to sisu.co, sisu.co. Make sure that you use the coupon code GRIT, that's GRIT, to waive all your setup fees and receive a 10% discount on your subscription. If you enjoyed listening to this podcast and want to subscribe, search GRIT, the Real Estate Growth Mindset, on iTunes, Spotify, or Podbean. And with that, we'll catch you next time. Take care.